You know that feeling, right? The jarring thud of a pothole, the endless sea of orange cones, that constant grind of roadwork. It really feels like a battle we can never win. But what if the road itself could fight back? What if our pavement could literally heal its own wounds? So here's what we're going to get into. First, we'll tackle the big problem with our pavement. Then we'll look at the incredible, radical solution that lets it heal. We're going to dive right into the science, weigh the promise against the practicality, and finally, see where this all is headed. All right, so to really get why self-healing roads are such a game changer, you have to understand the villain of our story. And that is the constant, expensive battle we're always fighting against crumbling pavement. It's a simple fact, but it's a powerful one. The asphalt under our wheels, as solid as it seems, is always in a struggle. Every single car, every storm, every winter, it all adds up to this inevitable cycle of cracks, potholes, and decay. And the consequences of that? They're huge. I'm not just talking about a bumpy ride. This constant failure means billions spent on repairs, those endless traffic jams we all hate, a massive use of resources, and, real safety risks for drivers and for the crews out there trying to patch everything up. So, what's the alternative? Well, this brings us to the hero of our story. A totally new way of thinking, where roads aren't just passive victims anymore, but are actually active players in their own upkeep. Okay, so meet self-healing asphalt. At its core, it's pretty much standard asphalt, but it's got a superpower. It's been souped up with special materials that let it fix its own tiny cracks, basically stopping big damage before it can even start. And here is the fundamental difference. You see, traditional asphalt is passive. It just sits there and takes a beating until a road crew finally shows up. But self-healing asphalt, it's an active system. It has these internal healing agents built right in, just waiting to jump into action the second damage happens. This changes everything. So how does this quote-unquote magic actually work? Okay, let's get under the surface and break down the really fascinating science that's baked right into the pavement itself. One of the coolest methods pioneered by researchers uses these tiny little microcapsules. Seriously, think of them like millions of microscopic water balloons, and they're mixed right into the asphalt. Each one is holding a secret healing agent. And what is that secret ingredient? You're not going to believe this. It's something you probably have in your kitchen right now, sunflower oil. And there's a good reason for it. Researchers picked it because it's cheap, it holds up well to heat, and it works as an amazing rejuvenator for the asphalt. It actually softens up the bitumen. That's the black sticky glue that holds all the rocks together. The whole healing process is it's so elegantly simple. A tiny crack forms, and as it spreads, it breaks open the nearby capsules. The sunflower oil inside gets released, and it soaks into the area, softening up that old, brittle bitumen. This lets the sticky binder flow back together and seal the crack. It's kind of like how platelets in your blood rush to heal a cut on your skin. Now, this right here shows you the incredible engineering challenge they had to solve. These capsules have to be tough enough to survive being mixed into asphalt that's 160 degrees Celsius, but at the same time, they have to be fragile enough to break open when a nearly invisible crack forms. It's this perfect, delicate balance between strength and sensitivity. Okay, so the science is seriously impressive, and the promise is enormous. But what are the real-world hurdles standing between this brilliant idea and our daily commute? Let's get practical. First up, the promise. Research is suggesting that self-healing asphalt could cut the need for road repairs by as much as 30%. Just stop and think for a second about the savings in money, in labor, in materials that represents. And it's not just about fewer repairs. This tech promises a longer life for the road itself. Some trials show these roads could last up to 30% longer. For us, that means less time stuck in those awful construction zones and more years of just smooth driving. I know what you're thinking. This all sounds amazing. So the obvious question is, if this stuff is so great, why isn't it everywhere already? What's the catch? Well, as promising as it is, there are some pretty big real-world challenges. For one, the upfront cost is higher. We also just don't have enough data yet on how it holds up over, say, 20 or 30 years in all kinds of climates. Then there are questions about making it work with existing road layers. And funny enough, those amazing little healing capsules can make recycling the asphalt a bit more complicated. Now, those hurdles are definitely real, but so is the progress being made. So let's wrap this up by looking at where this tech is today and what the road ahead really looks like. And let me be clear, this is not science fiction. pilot programs are already happening. In the Netherlands, for example, they're testing a version that uses steel fibers in the asphalt that can be heated up to melt the binder and seal cracks. And the sunflower oil method we talked about? Totally proven in the lab. Plus, crucial funding from both government and private sources is pushing all of this forward. So this is it. This is the journey from an idea to actual reality. The concepts we've just gone over are taking shape in physical, testable blocks of asphalt. The future of our roads is literally being mixed, compacted, and proven as we speak. Which brings us to the final, and maybe the most important question of all. This technology, it offers a future with fewer potholes, less traffic, and a much more sustainable way of building our world. So the real question isn't whether the tech can work, it's how much are we willing to invest today to build that fundamentally better road for tomorrow.